Hi guys, it's Jacob from StringBuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site. Links are in the description down below, and we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Coldplay, and that's Alien Song. And I refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. Now, I actually think Coldplay have been killing it for the majority of this year. Post that sort of terrible collaboration with the Chainsmokers, they have made nothing but gold in my opinion. It's the first time I've heard, well, really listened to Coldplay in my lifetime and did genuinely excited for each new release. And I know they went through like a golden spot, but unfortunately I was a bit too young to even remember that, so now is my sort of golden spot when it comes to this group. I think for the majority of my existence I found them a very plain and very dull act, you know, with a lot of safe pop tracks, because obviously, like I said, I missed that sort of early start, but they seem to be coming back to their sort of humble beginnings, and I think fans are really getting behind it. I've really gotten behind it, and I think reviewers are really enjoying it as well. So should we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, I thought it was pretty good, and I think there are a lot of clever elements thrown in here that harken back to some of their more memorable periods when making music. I like the sort of jarring beat with the slightly odd time signature playing away in the background. The choices of timbres and tones in this track hence create a very vivid yet vibrant texture. The vocal performance is also pretty darn strong, and there is just a lot to like here. I don't think it's quite as good as tracks like All I Can Think About Is You and Hypnotize as well, but there is, you know, something here that does offer something slightly different, you know, a bit more upbeat and a bit more diverse when it comes to the electronic influence and that sort of side of things. I do think the melodies are a little bit phoned in this time around, sounding pretty much the same as what we've been given thousands of times up to this point, and I think that would be my one gripe with the releases Coldplay have had this year, is that even though they've been very strong instrumentally, I think vocally a lot of the melodies have been very plain and a very standard and typical, I guess, but you know, the hook is still a memorable one this time around. When it comes to the production of this track, I think it's been really well handled. No area within the mix gets too swamped, and the electronic instrumentation worked alongside the organic stuff really well. There are a lot of sort of watery pads and synths that clearly layer over the cracks when it comes to the raw instrumentation, but it never felt forced or anything like that, or just put there just to fill those cracks, but instead added something new into the stereo field, added some new flavors, I guess. I thought the percussion was deep and impactful as well, and I thought the vocals sounded very pure and very rich with diction, and the clean guitars did just enough to whet my appetite for the rest of this track. I would have liked to have heard them turned up just a little bit more, as they were just sort of this trebly, sort of tinny sound right in the background, but I actually quite like that sort of glistening timbre. I would have, you know, I'd say that there was no standout element within this track, but rather just a collection of high quality aspects that work together to create this very cohesive sound, so I guess it is a really strong production cycle. Musicality wise, the track has got a fair bit going on, but definitely lacked variation in my opinion, especially when it comes to the song form, as we got no real bridge here, and it was a little bit repetitive in that sense. The beat sounded really fresh and different at the start, and it was the first time I'd really heard, you know, these sort of time signatures incorporated into Coldplay's sound, because obviously I've never found some of that stuff beforehand. It's quite rare to hear them use that, and I think it worked really well for them. It works with their style well, but it never really changed throughout the entire song, and it was the same beat looping from start to finish, and that meant that there were no moments of, say, like transitional flair or any exciting fills, and that was sorely missed, just to really up the ante going into the hook, going into the chorus. Having said that, I did like how the syllabic rhythm, especially the vocals and the sort of rest of the raw instrumentation, you know, the guitar, the bass and all that sort of stuff, quantified everything back into regular time, and the organic instrumentals all complemented each other really nicely, working in harmony over these fantastic chord progressions that are a little bit, you know, they suit this sort of extraterrestrial type of theme, you know, this atmosphere that was created. I do have a couple of gripes, I guess, about the main vocal hook, since it did involve Chris just wailing these long swooping notes, but then, you know, at this point I'm actively looking for flaws, and like I've already said, it's catchy regardless. Lyrically, the track is fairly strong, and it's meant to symbolize, you know, the current refugee crisis that is happening around the world, I guess, and I'm glad it didn't sort of beat me over the face with its message. It still left this sort of poignant statement about current affairs. I wish we could hear more of this by other artists, so all in all, it's still another strong track from a group that seems to be hitting their A game once again. So I gave it a G rating of 7 out of 10. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.